Hello guys, welcome back to my tutorial. How are you? Are you fine? I'm nice to meet you again. Today we will go to start the second part of chapter 3 of artificial intelligence, which is chapter 3 of introduction to emerging technology. In the previous chapter of chapter 3 of part 1, just we have tried to see the definition of artificial intelligence, needs of artificial intelligence, what comprises of the disciplines or the disciplines that have contributed for the existence of artificial intelligence, and advantages of the artificial intelligence, disadvantages of artificial intelligence, and some history of artificial intelligence has been tried to be seen. Today, we are going to see the second part of chapter 3 as it has been stated on this chapter outline. Torbee darbe waa'ee maalii ilaalle torbee darbe chaapterii sadaffaa paartii jalqabaa keessatti hiika artificial intelligence ilaallee jirra. Barbaachisummaa artificial intelligence ilaallee jirra. Kaayyoo gooroo artificial intelligence ilaallee turre. Akkasumas immoo disipiliinoota jiran warra artificial intelligence exist warra contribute gochuu danda'an ilaallee turre. Faayidaa artificial intelligence ilaallee jirra. Akkasumas immoo miidhaa isaas ilaallee turre. History isaal hamma dandeenye seenaan isaa maal fakkaata waan jedhamu ilaallee turre jechuudha. Warri isa kana hin ilaalin isa jalqabaa hin ilaalin paartii lamaffaa osoo ilaaltanii paartii jalqabaa osoo ilaaltanii guddaa isin jaaladha. First you should have to, for those persons or for those students who didn't see the first part of chapter 3, I recommend you go through my videos and you should have to watch the first part of the chapter 3. In this chapter or in this second part, we will going to see focus on level of artificial intelligence, types of artificial intelligence. We will see how do human mind think, how we will going to see mapping human thinking to artificial intelligence components. So as artificial intelligence developers are able to map human thinking to the component of the artificial intelligence. So this the second part of the chapter 3, we will see level of artificial intelligence ilalla, gosoota artificial intelligence ilalla, how do human think ilalla, dhalli namaa akkamitti akka yaaduu danda'u, akkasumas immoo dandeettii dhala namaa komponentii artificial intelligence keessatti artificial intelligence developeroon akkamitti akka isaan maap gochuu danda'an. We will see each and turn. So there are the 7 stages or the 7 levels of artificial intelligence. The first one is rule-based artificial intelligence. The second one is context awareness artificial intelligence. The third stage, domain-specific artificial intelligence. The fourth stage is machine reasoning machine artificial intelligence. The fifth one stage is self-aware system or artificial general intelligence system, and the sixth one is artificial super intelligence, and the seventh stage is singularity and excellency levels of artificial intelligence. Level of artificial intelligence kana keessatti inni stage jalqabaa yookaan level jalqabaa maal jedhu rule based system jedhaniini. Stage sadaffaa context awareness and retention jedhuun. Stage sadaffaa immoo domain specific expertise akka dhala namaa jedhu. Stage arfaffaa reasoning machine akka dhala namaatti yaadu reason gochuu danda'u. Stage shanaffaa self awareness system machine ofiisaatiin dalagu artificial general intelligence jedhuuni. Stage jaffaa artificial super intelligence. Artificial super intelligence wanta warra artificial intelligence wata dhala namaa darbanii wadalaguu yaaduu danda'an. Torbaffaa maalinni singularity and excellence. Singularity and excellence kana maalinni maayindoota dhala namaa walitti connect gochuudhaan akka human internetiitti namni dhalli namaas akkasitti akkatiin gochuu akka danda'u kan ittiin yaadamedha. Let me see the first level of artificial intelligence, which is rule-based artificial intelligence. So the most common use of artificial intelligence today fit in this bracket. It's covering everything from the business software, robotic process automation, and domestic appliances to aircraft autopilots. So such like rule-based systems work up on if-then condition rule. If-then condition rules. It's basically work up on the predefined set of instruction, which is prepared or which has been prepared for the machines in order to act according to the rules and regulation that has been prepared by the hand of the human being. Kana jechuun maashinoonni kana kunniin rule based reward system ta'anu warra seerota irratti dalaguu danda'an jechuudha. Fakkeenyaaf if yoo kana ta'e if this is this, if the first condition is met, the first condition is executed, else if the first condition not met, the second condition is executed. This is a rule based system. Rule based kana jechuun wanta dhalli namaa code it is act up on the rules that has been coded by the hand of the human being. The second stage is it's a third kana make it second. The second one. The second is context awareness and retention. Context awareness and retention. In this stage, the information about the algorithms that develop information about the specific domain they are being applied in. Such like algorithms, if they are applied in one particular area, they are able to develop or informations. For example, if you consider a chatbot and robo advisors, they are well-known examples of stage 2, which is context awareness and retention. Context awareness and retention. They are trained on knowledge and experience of the best humans. Malirrattis ta'e applied ani beekumsa dhala namaatii fi muuxannoo dhalli namaa qabu irratti applied ta'an jechuudha. Waan akkasii imitate gochuudhaan akkasumas replicate gochuudhaan kan isaan trend ta'an. Fakkeenya beekamaa stage lamaffaa kan ta'anu chatbot and robo advisor. Chatbots are an application or artificial intelligence softwares which receive the query of the users in the form of the questions, and also finally it is a react up on that question, so being up on the query of the user. The robo advisor is online platforms. It's online platform or digital assistant platforms, especially very essential for the financial transaction owners in order to prepare the plan for their businesses online transactions. It is a robo advisor online platforms which receive the question of the company owner from the users and then prepare the plans based upon the comments of the customizers from the online. Man robo advisor kun online platform ta'e questioni fakkeenyaaf amma campaign owner tokko irraa fuudhee yaada customeroonni karaa onlineetiin kennamu sana irratti hunda'ee business plaanii mataa fi kan qopheessuu danda'uun robo advisor jechuu ni dandeenya jechuudha. The third stage is domain specific expertise. Going beyond the capability of the human. These systems build up expertise in a specific context, taking a massive volume of information which they can be used for decision making. Going beyond the capability of the human. Kana jechuun malleen dandeettii dhala namaa darbanii warra deeman domain specific expertise. Akkuma dhalli namaa area murtaa'aa tokko irratti dandeettii mataa isaa qabu kunis domain specific expert. Fakkeenyaaf amma nama specialist fayyaa tokko yoo fudhatan, let me say for example gynecologist specialist. Nama ogeessa fayyaa sirna gadhubee gadaamessaa dubartootaatiin kan wal qabate waa'ee gadaamessaa specialized nama akkasii qabaachuun dammoo more nama tajaajila barbaachisaa tajaajila dansaa kennuuf gargaara. The same is true for artificial intelligence. Just we are or the system developers or artificial intelligence developers are able to obtain such like expertise systems in different number of sectors. It may going beyond the capability of the humans, which are these systems build up expertise in a specific context. Expertise naannoo tokko irratti maal gochuuf nu gargaara argachuuf uumuuf nu gargaara jechuudha. So successful use cases have been seen in cancer diagnosis for diagnosis and the well-known Google demand is AlphaGo. Google demand and AlphaGo, if you consider Google demand AlphaGo and cancer diagnosis are good example of domain-specific expertise. Cancer diagnosis akkasumas immoo Google demand AlphaGo yoo fudhatan fakkeenyota domain-specific expertise jechuudha. Kanaafuu fakkeenya example stage 3 barreessii yoo isiniin jedhan stage 3 maqaa isaa wajjin qabachuu dandeettanii specific domain specific expert fakkeenya guddaa kan ta'an fakkeenyaaf cancer diagnosing model and Google's demand AlphaGo jettanii yoo barreessitan deebii sirrii argachuu dandeessan jechuudha. The another one is stage 4 reasoning machine. This reasoning machine has an ability to attribute mental state to themselves and others. They has an ability to empower their mind like a human being by feeding themselves, by observing, by reading different web pages. They are reasoning machine. As its name implies, it has an ability to reason out. Malli nagarsiisa machine officer yaaduu danda'u. Machinoota mindii isaanii attribute gochuu danda'an, empower gochuu danda'an. Akka dhala namaatti. They have beliefs. Beliefs akkasii qabu they have sense of beliefs, intention, knowledge. They have their own logic work. They sense of belief qabu, intention qabu, knowledge qabu, have their own logic work mataa isaanii qabu. Yes. This means they could reason or negotiate with humans and other machine. Maalinni isaan kunniin akka dhala namaa reason gochuu danda'u, dhala namaa wajjin mari'achuu danda'u, akkasumas immoo maashinoota wajjin negotiate, discuss gochuu, idea of sharing akkas gochuu danda'u. At the moment, these algorithms are still in the development. However, commercial applications are expected within the next few years. As we have said, or we have discussed during the course outlines, this specialist emerging technology is focused on the those technology that are currently existing and expected within coming 5 to 10 years. So, algorithms they are in today's world, such like technology are not exist, but it is under the development. Yeroo ammaa kana gabayaa irra hin jiru garuu waggaa 5 dhufan keessatti ni argama. Reasoning machine sense of belief mataa fi qabu, intention mataa fi knowledge mataa fi qabu, akkasumas immoo logic work mataa isaa warri qaban, warri reason gochuu danda'an, negotiate dhala namaatii fi maashinoota wajjin gochuu danda'an ni dhufa jedhamee ni eegama jechuudha. So we should have to prepare ourselves. The another one is stage 5 or self-awareness system or artificial general intelligence. So these systems have human-like intelligence. Human-like intelligence. The most commonly portrayed artificial intelligence, such like algorithms are expected or artificial intelligences are expected to be deployed in the media, but however, no such uses is in evidence today. Even if they are expected to have human-like intelligence, such like algorithms are yet are not developed. That is a self-aware system or artificial general intelligence or human-like intelligence. Intelligence is media deployed area media Stage 1, the 6th stage is artificial superintelligence. These artificial superintelligence algorithms can outsmart even than the human being. They are such like algorithms can outsmart even the most intelligent humans in every domains. Maal jedha inni kuni artificial superintelligence kuni maal inni kaayoo isaanii Ispeeshaalistiin fayyaa kamiyyuu kan namni jaalatu jechuun eeriyaa sanarratti ispeeshaalaayizd godheera kan jennu caalaa achi darbee kan hojjetuu danda'u. Dhala namaa dandeettii dhala namaa ittiin gara kaanti kan dalagu. Logically, it may be difficult for the human to articulate what the capability, the end of the capability of the human being. For the human being, it's very difficult to articulate the end of the human capacity. Once we face that one particular problem today, we may overcome the next day. So it's very difficult for the human beings to determine the capacity, the end capacity of the human being. But such like artificial intelligences are expected to work beyond that. Logically, maalini maashiniin tokko dhala namaa darbee hojjetuu danda'a kan jedhamu. Dhalli namaa dandeettii dhala namaa tokko yaaduun akkasumas immoo dhuma dandeettii dhala namaa bira ga'uun baay'ee rakkisaadha. Sababi isaa wanta haqa dadhabe tokko dhalli namaa boruu danda'a. Kan boru darbe dadhabe immoo iftaan hin danda'a jechuudha. Kanaafuu dandeettiin dhala namaa dhaabbiin qabu jechuudha. Bira ga'uun hin danda'amu. Garuu jarri maal jechaa jiru maashinii dhala namaa darbee dalaguu danda'u ni hojjanna jedhani. Kutaa kana stage affa kana keessatti stage artificial super intelligence kan jedhamu kana keessatti. So another one is stage 7 singularity and excellency. The development path led by artificial super intelligence will lead us to the point in time where the capability of the humans will see tremendous extension. So with the help of this artificial super intelligence technology, human would be able to connect the mind of each other and like the human internet. Maalini dhalli namaa singularity and excellency kana keessatti dhalli namaa sammuu dhala namaa walitti connect ta'uudhaan by just one flick of mind taawutii yaada namaa wali share gochuu danda'u jechuudha. Just like the internet of things, the mind of the human beings will going to be connected each other, not only the mind of the human with the mind of the human with other animals like plants and other natural activity. Akkasitti walitti connect godhanii dhalli namaa akka human internet itti yaada walii waan ku yaadu tokko beekaa yaada walii share walii godhataa jechuudha. So በጣም ደግሞ yaada baay'ee kana wal falmisiisu yoo ta'u but different number of scientists are arguing on this issue, while some argue that for the human will never reach such levels, and some say that it is feasible with the exponential growth rate of the currently existing technology. It is very easy to achieve such like behaviors for the human being within coming 2045 years. Haalama teknoolojii amma jiru kana yoo itti deemu waggoottan 2045 dhufan jiru keessatti har'aan duuba waggoottan 23 dhufan bara 2022 keessa jirraani 2023 hafan keessatti at the end of 2045 sammuu dhala namaa singularity and excellence gochuudha. Singularity irraa gara excellence fiduu ni danda'ama waan jedhamee kan yaadamutti jira jechuudha. So the another one is the level of artificial intelligence maturity. So please focus, let's look this graphs carefully. In this graph, there are 7 levels of artificial intelligence maturity. The first level is the perception. The second level is notification. The third one is out of suggestion, the maturity level. The fourth one is automation. The fifth one is prediction. The sixth one is prevention. And the seventh one is situational awareness. For example, if we have a security camera in our company, or security camera are artificial intelligence devices. Artificial intelligence, they are able to perceive or they stimulate from their environment. During perception, there is something that comes to them, the minds of the camera. What's happening now? What's happening in the environment? What kinds of activities are going on in the environment? They should have to perceive the movements and stimulus that are ongoing in the environment. Then, if the facial recognition camera during the notifications, what do you need to do? What do I need to know? Should have to be answered by security camera or by artificial intelligence. So during the notification, if the system able to recognize the material from the object from the environment, what if it's a facial recognition? What do I need to know? It should have to know something from the face of object with the facial recognition material or artificial intelligence. The other one is during the maturity level, third level, which is suggestion, for example. Suggestion. If the system wanted to provide some alerts for the camera owner, what do you recommend? What kind of information do you do it recommend for the user, for the system owner, for the camera owners, in order to avoid insecurity? Then automation. The first one is automation. This indicates the continuous learning of the artificial intelligences. During the automation, for example, what should I always do? If it is autonomous devices with such like algorithms or artificial intelligence devices able to do the works by themselves without human intervention, what should I always do? It should have to know what activity it always do. So another one is the prediction. For example, if it's a model in order to predict the rainfall for one particular geographical area, so by training the data within the data has been gathered during the past 10 years to 5 to 10 years, then the model is able to be trained, which is an artificial intelligence. Then based on the training data set, by seeing the current temperature condition, then the algorithms should have to be able to predict what will be happen tomorrow. If the temperature look like this, today what will happen? If the temperature condition continue in such a way, what kind of suggestion should have to be suggested for the farmers or for the security provider? It should have to be suggested being up on the current scenario. Then the another one is a prevention. If it is a system that has been deployed in order to prevent the insecurity, so such like security should have to be protected. What can I avoid? So if it is security provider or security providing some like security service providing camera, providing artificial intelligence, it should have to know it should have to avoid. Then the seventh one is situational awareness. What do I need to do right time now? During situational awareness, it should have to know, to aware, to do what it needs to do right time and now at a time. So marinni levelot maturity leveli algorithmota jiran torban keessa tokko perception. Perception jechuun wanta naannoo sana keessa jiru wanta ta'aa jiru percept gochuudha. Erga percept godhen doo maalinni algorithmoonni keenya yookiin artificial intelligence keenya what happening now environment sana keessa maaltu akka amma gaggeeffamaa jiru percept gochuu danda'a jechuudha. So stage lamaffaa keessatti fakkeenyaaf facial recognition camera fayyuu ta'e maalinni what do need I to know? Maal beeku qaba image sana erga detect godhe erga understand godhen duuba achirra maalan notify gochuu qaba. Le maturity level sadaffaarratti maalinni suggestion what go suggest gochuu danda'u qaba. Fakkeenyaaf wanta modelos tokko yoo fudhattan fakkeenyaaf amma barana roobni akkana tareera waan ta'eef qonnaan bultoonni kan keenya yeroo akkasii keessatti jabaatanii waan akkasii gochuu qaban jedhanii suggestion waan ta'e recommend godhu. Haala amma jiru haala duraan ture irraa tamaaree haala amma jiru kanarratti hunda'ee isa dhufuuf immoo maaltu akka ta'uu qabu kan suggest godhu jechuudha. So automation maalinni automation kan jedhamu kun self autonomous self device osoo yoo ta'e. Oduu human without any human intervention maal jedhanii what should otherwise do. Yeroo hunda maalaan gochuu qaba. Self autonomous device yoo ta'e yeroo cufa maal gochuu qaba. Oduu namni isa operate gochuu hin dandeenye ofiisaatiin wanti dalaguu jiraachuu qaba jechuudha. So prediction kan jennuun immoo fakkeenyaaf what expect to happen. Fakkeenyaaf meteorologistoonni maal fayyadamu moodeloota garaagaraa fayyadamu. Maalinni haala temperatureota yeroo ammaa kanarratti hundaa'anii isa boru sana predict. Wanti kun haala kanaan yoo itti fufe waggoota lamaan sadiin dhufan keessatti maal ta'uu danda'a. Akka dhala nama waa tokko herreguu kan danda'u jechuudha. So prevention kan jennu immoo wanta itti sarratti ramadamu. Fakkeenyaaf attack iddoo fakkeenyaaf military force irratti wanta security wanta tokko prevent kan jedhu fakkeenyaaf wanta objectoota gurguddaa ta'an kan akka dhala namaatti wal fakkeeffaman attack gochuu kan danda'u yoo ta'e environment akkasii gaafa detect godhuun maal wanti inni area sanaaf balleessuu qabu maal wanta akkasii hojjechuu danda'u qaba. The another one situational awareness. Situational awareness. Haalota warra hubachuu danda'an. Haala ammaa kana hubatee ammaa kana maal gochuu qaba. Decision barbaachisa fudhachuu danda'a. This is all about the 7 levels of artificial intelligence maturity. So if you are freshman student is a bit agar. Maal isin jedhanii yookiin dammoo gaaffilee kanneen isin fidanii levelota kanneen isin gaafachuu danda'an. Levelota kanneen isin gaafachuu danda'an. Yookiin levelota kanneen isin fidanii gaaffilee gubbaa kanneen akka isin filatanu filannoo keessa isin gaafachuu danda'an. So you should have to prepare yourself. Side lamaan, no? So this is continuous learning of artificial intelligence. Another one is about types of artificial intelligence. Basically, we have 2 types of artificial intelligence based on the capability and based on the functionality. So, based upon the capability, we have 3 types of artificial intelligence, which we can say are type 1 artificial intelligence. The first one is narrow artificial intelligence, or just we can say that weak artificial intelligence or general artificial intelligence. The third one is strong artificial intelligence. So based upon the functionality, which can be said as to be type 2, can be classified into 4. The first one is reactive machine. The second one is limited memory. The third one is the theory of mind. The fourth one is self-awareness devices or self-awareness artificial intelligence. So the type or based on the functionality, just we have seen reactive machines, limited memory, theory of mind, and self-awareness type artificial intelligences are there. Many artificial intelligence basically inni jalqaba based on the capability yookiin type 1 kan jedhamudha. Type 1 kan jedhamanu narrow artificial intelligence jiranii, general artificial intelligence jiru, strong artificial intelligence jiru jechuudha. Type 2 kan jennuun dammoo based on the functionality. Bakka guddaa lamarratti qoomna. Capability isaaniitii fi functionality isaaniitti hundoonne. So functionality irratti hundaa'uudhaan bakka guddaa afuritti qoodamu. Reactive machine, limited memory, theory of mind, and the self-awareness. So the first one is a weak or narrow artificial intelligence. So such like artificial intelligences are very narrow or weak is a type of artificial intelligence which is able to perform dedicated tasks with intelligence. Such like algorithms or artificial intelligences are able to do or perform for the sake of the tasks they are dedicated for. They cannot work as an activity except the work that they are dedicated for. The most common and currently available artificial intelligence is narrow artificial intelligence, in which the world of artificial intelligence can categorized under. Maalinni weak artificial intelligence yookiin narrow artificial intelligence kan jennu kunniini gosa artificial intelligence ta'anii jechuudha dalagaa isaan dalagan dalagaa gosa tokko qofa kan dalaguu danda'u. They are dedicated for a single unit of task or intelligence. They cannot do any extra works rather than a single unit of the work. So maalinni algoritmoon yeroo hadhaa yookiin artificial intelligence sun yeroo ammaa kana keessatti kutaa kana jalatti ramadamu jira. Weak artificial intelligence jennaan. So narrow artificial intelligence cannot perform beyond its field or limitations. It is only trained for one specific task. Hence, it's also termed as weak. Dalagaa tokko qofa dalaguu waan danda'aniif dalagaa tokko qofa because they have been trained for a single unit of the activity or only. So for this reason, it's also named as weak artificial intelligence. So if you consider Appli Siri is a good example of narrow, it receives the questions of the query of the users in the form of voice. Then based on the recognized voice, they are able to answer that questions. Another one is IBM's Watson supercomputer. This IBM's Watson supercomputer also comes under this narrow artificial intelligence, as it uses an expertise system approach combined with machine learning and natural language processing. Malini in IBM's Watson supercomputer, they are the computer which has been designed for the questioning and answering. But within the expertise system or within the sophisticated software. Inni kun IBM's Watson computer kunniin narrow artificial intelligence jennaan jechuudha. Inni kun sophisticated software fayyadamuudhaan questioning fi answering kan hojjetu. Ati gaaffii gaafata deebisi. Like a chatbot that we have seen during the first chapter of this course. Some other examples of narrow artificial intelligences are Google Translate, playing chess, purchasing suggestions on e-commerce sites, self-driving cars, and speech recognition and also image recognition. Those technologies this technology can be classified under the weak artificial intelligence or narrow artificial intelligence. Google Translate playing a chess game, purchasing suggestions on e-commerce, self-driving cars, speech recognition as well as image recognition in kuni faida fakkeenya maaliti narrow yookaan weak artificial intelligence. The second one is general artificial intelligence. This general artificial intelligence is type of intelligence that could perform any intellectual task with efficiency like a human. It's able to do any intelligent activity that could perform an intelligent activity like a human being by its own. So the idea behind this general artificial intelligence is to make such a system that could smarter and think like the human being also. Maal jechuu barbaadeeti general artificial intelligence kan jedhan kunniini maashinii maal godhuu danda'u akka dhala namaatti intellectual activity kamiyyuu dalaguu danda'u with like human efficiency akka efficiency hamma efficiency dhala namaatti or active gochuu danda'an. Currently, such technology are not. Currently, there is no such a system exist on the real world, which could come under the general artificial intelligence and can perform any task as perfect as a human. I haven't seen all of the world. There is no any artificial intelligent devices which can work any activity efficiently like a human being. The worldwide researchers are now focused on the developing machines with general artificial intelligence. Researchers garuu attention isaanii xiyyeeffannaan isaanii system akkana kana hojjechuudhaaf attention isaanii gara sadeeffatanii hojjechaa jiru jechuudha. The system with general artificial intelligence are still under research and it will take a lot of efforts it will take a lot of effort and time to develop such a systems. That needs a time and it needs effort. Another one is super artificial intelligence. Super artificial intelligence. So this super artificial intelligence is a level of intelligence of the system at which machine could surpass human intelligence and can perform any task better than human beings with cognitive properties. This refers to tasks like general wisdom, problem solving, and creativity. And creativity. Problem solving and creativity. So, malini in the artificial level of intelligence of the system at which machine could surpass human intelligence. Maashinoon dhala namaa dandeettii dhala namaa darbuudhaan dalagaa kamiyyuu dhala namaa caalaa haala dansaadhaan hojjechuu danda'an jedhamanii warra eegaman jechuudha. So it is the outcome of general artificial intelligence. In general artificial intelligence, they are able to perform any intelligent work like a human being. But in this super artificial intelligence, they are expected to surpass the capacity of the human being and can perform any task better than human being. So some key characteristics of such strong algorithms include capability includes ability to think, ability to reason, solve the puzzle problem, make judgments, ability to plan, ability to learn new things, and ability to communicate on its own. So, algoritmoon akkanaa yookiin super artificial intelligence akkanaa kunniin maalinni warra ofii isaaniitiin think gochuu danda'an, reason gochuu danda'an, puzzle problem solve gochuu danda'an, warra murtii fudhachuu danda'an, warra plan gochuu danda'an, warra baratuu danda'an, akkasumas immoo warra communicate ofiin gochuu danda'an. So super artificial intelligence is still hypothetical concept of artificial intelligence. They are really not exist. So the development of such system is really still one challenging task. Another one is based on the functionality. The second tab, based on the functionality, the first one is reactive machine. This reactive machine is a poorly reactive machine. Machines are the most basic type of artificial intelligence. The most basic types of artificial intelligence. Such systems do not store memory or past experience for the future actions. Reactive machine can jennu kunni artificial intelligence on akkana malenni memory jiran storing godhatan. Experience yero darbe yero bara jireenya experience isaanii future use yookiin action idhaaf itti fayyadamuu hin danda'an. These machines only focus on the current scenario. Their main discipline or rules in order to focus what is currently occurring in one particular area and react on it as per possible best action. So IBM's Deep Blue system and Google AlphaGo are good example of reactive machine. So the second one is limited memory. So in this, the algorithms or artificial intelligence, which will be classified under this limited memory, can store past experiences or some data for short period of time. They cannot even store the data for long period of time. Limited memory data yero gabaabadhaaf store gochuu danda'an. These machines can store data for limited time of period. Data sana yero murtaa'aa qofaaf. For example, if you consider self-driving cars are able to store past experiences or some data for short period of time in order to detect the motion of the cars around them, and also in order to detect the speed of the another cars which is around it. So self-driving cars can store recent speed of nearby cars, the distance of the cars, distance of other car, speed of cars, and other information to navigate in the road safely. To navigate in the road safely, such like algorithms or self-limited memory or self-driving cars are classified under this limited memory, which is based on the functionality. So self-driving car is a good example of limited memory. It's only stores the data for short period of times and some data for short period of times. In order to detect the distance of nearby cars, distance of the cars, speed limit of the car, and also other information to navigate through the world safely. Self-driving car in motion speedy konkolaattota gara biraa akkasumas immoo distance isa irra jiran objectoota naannoo jiran wanta sana detect godha yeroo xiqqaadhaaf save godhata safely ittiin socho'uu danda'u jechuudha. The third one is theory of mind. The third one is theory of mind. So theory of mind, artificial intelligence should understand human emotions, beliefs, and able to interact socially like human. This type of artificial intelligence machine is still not developed, but researchers are making a lot of efforts and improvements for developing such artificial intelligence system. Theory of mind kan jennu kunin should understand human emotions. Emotion in dhala namaa warra understand gochuu danda'an. Human emotion. They are able to understand human emotions, people's beliefs, dhala namaa, and also be able to interact socially like humans. Akka dhala namaatti socially interact gochuudhaaf kan gargaaru jechuudha. Theory of mind. Algoritmoonni akkanaa kunniin yeroo ammaa kana keessatti hojiirra hin oolle akkasumas maashinoonni akkanaa hin argamnes jechuun ni dandeenya. So the fifth one is self-awareness. Self-awareness devices. Self-awareness artificial intelligence is the future of artificial intelligence. Self-awareness machine will be super intelligent and will have their own consciousness, sentiment, and self-awarenesses. Such like self-awareness machines will be smarter than the human mind. Self-awareness artificial intelligence does not exist in reality, still, and it's a hypothetical concept. Self-awareness in kun maalini fiichuroota artificial intelligence gara fuula duraa dhufuu danda'an jedhamee warra yaadaman jechuudha. Isaan kunniin super intelligentidha. Super intelligent dhala namaa caalaa will have their own consciousness mataa isaanii qabu. Sentiment mataa isaanii qabu. Akkasumas immoo self-awareness mataa isaanii ni qabaatu jechuudha. Self-awareness. They are expected to be smarter than the human mind. Sammuu dhala namaa caalaa smart akka isaaniitti ni eegama jechuudha. Another one is how does a human being think? Dhalli namaa akkamitti waa tokko yaaduu danda'u. So, intelligence or the cognitive process is composed of the three main stages, especially the human being. The first stage is observe. When we think the thing is, for example, we observe around the environment and also we are able to input the information or the data from the environment into our mind. Then the second, our mind interpret and evaluate the input data which is received from the environment, from surrounding environment. Then, after the received information interpreted and evaluated, then the decision also made as a reaction to what is received as input and interpreted and evaluated. So, artificial intelligence researchers are simulating the same stage in building artificial intelligence system or models. This process represents the main three layers or components of artificial intelligence system. Dhalli namaa akkamitti yaada? Tokkoffaa wanta naannoo isaa inni jiru hubata akkasumas immoo odeeffannoo isaa naannoo isaanirraa gara sammuutti dabarfata jechuudha. Erga dabarfateen duuba isteejii lammaffaan maalinni wanta sana interpret godha yookiin evaluate godha jechuudha. Daataa naannoo isaarraa fudhate. Then erga interpret and evaluate godheen duuba maal godha decision made godha jechuudha. So isa kana dhalli scientific researcheroonni maal godhani artificial intelligence develop godhuudhaaf isteejii wal fakkaataa fayyadamu jechuudha. So, because of artificial intelligence, sense of simulating human thinking, it is possible to map human thinking stages to the layer or component of artificial intelligence. san barnoon artificial intelligence kumaanni sansii thinking dhala namaa sirna yaadisa dhala namaa ittiin simulate ittiin replicate ittiin mul'isu jechuudha simulate godhu jechuudha. So it is possible to map kanaaf human thinking stage kana gaafa leeroota yookaan component of artificial intelligence hojjetu saayintistoonni isa kana artificial intelligence keessatti stage wal fakkaataa akka dhalli namaa itti understand or think godhu kana fakkeessanii hojjechuu ni danda'u jechuudha. In the first stage, for example, a human acquire information from their surrounding environment through human senses. Dhalli namaa karaa qaamolee miira garaagaraatiin wantoota naannoo isaa stimuleesii naannoo isaanii jiran kana receive gochuun ni gargaaru jechuudha. Wantoota naannoo isaanii keessa jiran kana receive godhanii gara mindii isaaniitti kan geessan karaa qaamolee miiraa kanneeniini. So an artificial intelligence model, those stages. The stages are represented by sensing layer, which perceive information from the surrounding environment. Artificial intelligence keessatti stageonni amma ilaalle kunniin maal jedhani jechuudha karaa sensing layer kanaan information naannoo isaaniirraa akka isa receive godhan sensorota garaagaraa fayyadamuudhaan akkasitti qabamaa jira. For example, these are sensing agents such as, for example, voice recognition. And in machine learning, for example, in voice recognition for sensing voice, visual image recognition for sensing images. Thus, these agents or sensors take the role of hearing and sight senses in the human. So, isaan kunniin sensing agentota kanneen jennu voice recognition, sagalee nama tokkoo sense gochuudhaaf, visual image recognition, image recognize gochuudhaaf, isaan kunniin maaliin jechuudha sensing agent jennuu ni dandeenya. Sensing agent like qaamolee miiraa dhala namaa jechuudha. So the second is in the second stage is related to interpreting and evaluating the input data in terms of the human being. Once we recognize the stimuli from the environment, the second is interpreting and evaluating. But what about an artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence, the same stage is applied or simulated. In artificial intelligence, this stage is represented by the interpretation layer that is reasoning, that able to reason, able to think about the gathered input, which is accorded by the sensing layer. Sensing layer ilan wantoota naannoo isaanirraa fuudhu sana interpret and evaluate godha jechuudha artificial intelligence device on. The third stage in the human being is related taking action or making a decision. But in case of artificial intelligence, after evaluating the input data and interpreting the information by using layers, different number of layers, they are able to also take an action. If you consider robotic movement control and speech recognition, they are an example of the functions that are implemented in the interaction layer of artificial intelligence. The another one is influencer of artificial intelligences. Influencer of artificial intelligence means what makes our artificial intelligence to be developed for, to exist. Influencers, what are factors that has been influenced. Big data is the emergence of the big data initiates the scientists to develop artificial intelligence, which is structured data versus unstructured. The emergence of structured and unstructured, or the existence or the emergence of having different number of data types influences our artificial intelligence researchers in order to come up with these good concepts of artificial intelligence. The second one is advancement in computer processing speed, and a new chip architecture is also another influencers of artificial intelligence, and cloud computing and apps, and the emergence of the data science. This is the influencer factors that influences our artificial intelligence in order to exist all over the world So Canberra influencer of artificial intelligence in nani jiru. Factoron amma gaditi wantoon arginu kuni artificial intelligence on ken akka argamani sabab guddaa waratan. The first one is big data. Big data sababi data gosa garagara qabachuudhaan kanneen data kana wajjin deal gochuudhaan artificial intelligence nu barbaachisa dadhabbii dhala namarraa hambisuudhaaf advancement in computer processing speed if a chip architecture on garagara argamuudhaan cloud computing if apping garagara application program interfacing garagara argamuudhaan akkasumas immoo emergency of data science emerge ta'uudhaan scientistoota kan keenya akka isaan artificial intelligence develop godhanuuf kan gargaaru jechuudha. This brings us to the end of our space lesson. Yeroo gabaabaa keessatti paartii sadaffaa qabadheen dhufaa. Turtii gaarii isin haa ta'u guddaa isin jaalladha. Within the short period of time, I will come up with the third part of the chapter 3. Bye bye. Have a nice time.